Prophet for the end of time, showing magical wisdom. Things are about to break loose, so let's get started with predictions that have been 2022, the end of 2022 through 2027. Reasons for the balance, because there was a crusade. They rounded up the spiritual prophecies. They murdered, chopped off heads, and burnt people at the stake. This is not a mystery. This is history. It's not a mystery. It's history. We eliminated the spiritual prophet. They eliminated the teachings. The reason for the balance is the prophet will still come forward. There will be balance. It's not about winning and it's not about a loss. It doesn't work that way. So the whole reason humanity is about to go through this whole thing they're going to go through is because of this crusade where they took the prophecies. They have to allow the spiritual prophet to come forward and teach spirit and rebirth. And of course, the one true miracle from God is spirit and rebirth. And that is proven through writing your lives down and then coming back and living that life in the future. So we do know this stuff. These started in November of 2022 when I told everyone the reason why you were going to get massive earthquakes, volcanoes, and storms was because the Antichrist, or this planet, is coming in. He looks a lot like Jupiter, one red-eyed, curly-haired, halo-wearing destruction bringer, but he's lawless. He doesn't abide by your laws of physics, your laws of gravity, your laws of light, or otherwise. So he's been watching you for a while. His location in our space, this may sound weird, but it's March through May. I have noticed that this is when our gravity effects seem to be the worst, is when we enter this area over here. So in March through May is where he is located out in space currently, and when we pass by him, we get massive earthquakes and stuff as he gets closer and closer. So this year, it should be pretty severe. I do have my eye on a date. I have seen this date several times. 227 this year. I believe it's going to be a massive earthquake for California, or at least right around this date, but it doesn't have to be. I don't have dates in my third eye. I don't think you do either, so I do my best to tell you what's coming. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm trying to tell you the truth of why it's going on. It's going on because of the Crusades. You need these prophecies released. You need a prophet coming forward. So what were the first three cities I told you were going to fall? L.A., and then I'm not sure which is which, but Phoenix and Vegas. So those two are after L.A., and L.A. did have the fires. What do I see for California? I've already described this. This is not new stuff, guys. This is old. I'm just reiterating it because we're here and we're going to go through it. So California gets split by land and by people. You're not going to be able to do this trench. It's going to be too wide. So the actual California is going to be split. I did tell you only days before that God was going to start burning the guilty ones in the lake of fire. Was that exactly what happened? No, the LA fires were just God letting you know that this is where the evil is. He didn't burn anybody per se, and that's not exactly what I'm expecting. So we'll get to the burning of the lake of fire soon enough. I'm expecting probably more or less storms after the fires, massive earthquake, which is going to separate the lands, probably two of them, 8.3 and 8.7 would be my guess, really close together, possibly side by side within the same 10 minutes, but maybe a few hours or even half a day apart. And then this California goes through 3 days of darkness. Now how far away is it from when the lands get separated till these days of darkness happen? I don't have a calendar in my eye, but I'm guessing it's the 3 days of darkness, and I'm going to explain why I think it might be around 3 days of darkness. The trigger currently is unknown, but I do have, I'm going to show you here in a minute what I think triggers it all. But this has already happened, the earthquake and this and that, and I'm going to show you what triggers the over the planet 3 days of darkness to go along with California here. And then we know the end is here. This is when we know. And then what I do see is that waves wash the evil away. So tsunami over time after these guys have just murdered and killed. I'm sorry, guys. These guys murder and kill each other. And that's what they do. Instead of being peaceful and coming together, they run through the streets and kill each other. And then some big massive waves come in and wash them away. It's what I see in my third eye. Hopefully that's not exactly what happens, but here's what I see as the trigger points. So California, I've told you from the very, very beginning in 2022 that this is where God's showing me that the big action is going to go down to start, and it is. I've told you a nuclear reactor meltdown to show us one more time that we should not be doing this nuclear stuff. We should go back to God's ways. Anyway, we'll get into that a different day. Most likely that's going to be in California, and God's showing us one more time. Now here is Medusa. I do have a Medusa, which I think this is a comet. I call them dragons. You call them comets, as they drag on across the sky with their tails and their wings. We've always known them as dragons. Why you guys call them comets, I'm not sure, but the drag on is green here. This is what triggers everything. I believe she's trying to escape the solar system. God said you're not doing that. That might sound crazy at the moment, but it's not going to be so crazy here real soon. The red dragon comes through. He punches through the sun itself, and he always screams the same thing when I see it, which is, "You were warned." And he goes chasing her down. This is what I see that's coming up very, very soon. So you can say it's not, but definitely, I think here very soon, but definitely by 2027, this event's going to have happened. So God tells me over and over, this green dragon, this green dragon, this green comet is with child. That means it bears something it's not supposed to have. Doesn't mean like a child always. It could be, though. I don't know exactly what that's describing, but a lot of times it's cargo, see, with child. So you're not leaving with this cargo, and the Red Dragon's making it a very big point. The two of them sail off. I don't see him for a long time. I think they disappear for a couple of years, and he forces her back kind of thing. Can't say that. But anyway, we're getting to the point here. He screams, "You were warned," and Mercury's here and Venus is here. So we're going to show the effect that I see from this, which is the burning in the lake of fire, which is that these immortals have been warned not to do this to the spiritual people. Do unto others as you want done unto you. Archangel Michael brings balance, not power. In which case, this is the debris flying out of the sun. It's a very, 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 very destructive day and event that happens here very soon. In which case, Mercury's right next to it, you might say. And they start in the debris, and they're actually going this way. So they go through the debris field. Trust me, this is a debris field, and it goes a long way out. And when his tail comes out, it's massive. The exit wound from the sun here where he goes through it is massive, and do remind yourself as you say that's impossible. Our sun is actually a very low burning temperature wise sun, and there's many objects in the universe that have come from suns that are extremely hotter than ours, possibly even twice as hot a sun as ours. So for that projectile to go through is very simple. It's not even hot enough to melt it by any means, way, shape, or form. It came from a different solar system, and thus our sun's not hot enough to melt it. So don't kid yourself that it can't go through there, even by science, very, very easily that it can go through there. And I do see this in my third eye, and you were warned. Mercury gets blasted right off the start and goes all the way through the debris field, and then Venus comes through and goes through it too. And those that lived there should have known better than to do this stuff to the spiritual people. They were warned. This is balance, not power. This is what I see in my third eye. This is what I'm talking about for 3 days. When it punches through the sun, this is what the sun looks normally. After it punches through, this is what it looks like. It's very, very dark. And humanity's very, very desperate, and they're not sure if the sun's even going to come back from that. And it looks like this with only maybe a third of it, with a third of it not burning. It's a little brighter than this, but you could tell how wounded it is. And it's very scary. And it lasts for a good 3 days that it's not even very bright at all. As if maybe, I don't know, maybe if someone's been to Alaska, if you've been up there and the sun's at the very, very edge of its peak before it goes off for winter, like that's what I'm talking about. Like you barely feel it. You can't even feel the warmth from it. It is what I see. If it doesn't all happen, thank goodness I'm not the prophet, and you don't have to worry about it, right? Oh, me too. Thank goodness I'm not him. I see 2 asteroids coming in off of possibly this. It always happens after. So I'm assuming it's from that debris field or from those 2 comets or dragons, one green or greenish blue and one red dragon chasing it down. That's what I see. And it's either from those or from this debris, so I can't tell you how far in the future that this is, but I would assume it's a month or 2 maybe, just a guess. Maybe it's only a day or 2 after those events happen that this happens. But anyway, one comes in, it looks like a fireball. It's very orange and red, and it goes straight in and hits the ocean. And what I see is when it clears and hits the ocean, there's an underwater base right there. Several of them right in that location, and it just destroys them all. You can say no, but that's what I see. So the reason for this hit is to hit the underground base, and then the second one lands right up on top of land. And what I see is it pukes it all out. And as I've said before, people run around as this one's coming in and they're screaming, "Wormwood, wormwood," or yeah, I'm pretty sure wormwood. Yeah. And then it pukes all the lands out. I'm pretty sure that's what they're screaming, guys. I don't know. Is that what's in the Bible? I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm not a Bible thumper, so I'm just trying to remember. Like, yeah, I think they're saying wormwood. Maybe that's backwards. Maybe it's woodworm. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on it. Anyway, it's bluish green and it lands on top of the lands. Okay, so these two events come. Obviously, pukes all the lands out over there. I don't. It absolutely is not North America. Let's just put it that way. It's not North America, and it's not South America either. Those guys that have been calling themselves religious and doing nothing but killing each other for years and years and years. That's the lands I see it puking on top of. We won't get into it. The future is extinction. I'm not giving you this, guys. You've had this already. I'm not scaring you. This is already your pre-predictions you have from the Bible, from all these great prophets and otherwise. You guys are going to reach extinction level, and it's all going to go nowhere. The Antichrist, this planet, is going to show up, and there's going to be no peace at all. That's it. I'm not even going to explain what happens. You guys should have figured it out by now. The extinction of all. That means the immortals, the gods are tired of it, guys. They're tired of you guys going these ways. They're tired of you going down this road, building these cities, getting this immortality, and then after you're out there for no time at all, you start screaming how they did you wrong, how they tricked you, and how you can't find death anymore, and all you need is death. We're just so sick of this scenario that goes out that humanity's going through one more time. So that's not what's happening. You guys aren't getting the immortality, and then Archangel Michael goes out there and saves you from the evil. This time it's extinction first, and I'm not giving you anything new. See, I shouldn't be scaring you at all. This is what already is told. So you can either have the prophet, be taught spirit and rebirth, the true one miracle from God, which is being born over and over as a spiritual being, and he does this through his prophecies that they took from you. You can fight for those back. You can say you want them. And of course, as it's written, he brings 7 years of peace. Half the lands are given back. These are God's lands, and the spiritual people get to live there. And again, we won't get into that. That's just what is already written for you that happens. So, A, you can do extinction level, saying that there is no prophet. This is all garbage, etc., etc. B, you can fight against it. Possibly find that video I was talking about by Grant Jeffries. He's the guy who did Bible Prophecies Revealed, but it's not a Bible Prophecy Revealed video, and it was probably done in the 90s, and it's titled Jesus is Second in the Quran, where he opens up the Quran. This Grant Jeffrey guy, he opens up the Quran and reads from it. He reads those prophecies. They are nothing but prophecy. We did see this video in 2010, and maybe it can be found, and then the prophet can be found from those prophecies. Yes, you can. You start in the lands of color red, and you go from there with the prophecies in hand, and you'll locate his doorstep. Trust me, that's how in-depth they are. You will. If they're Muhammad's prophecies that were in that Quran, and that's that, they'll lead you to my doorstep once you know who I am and what lands I come from. So we'll bring 7 years of peace. We'll do all this. So these are your futures for you. Those are the things I see coming. I see California being split off. I see them acting like total buffoons, killing each other. The whole place being pretty much wiped out, you might say. And that's your indication that you're at the end of times. At that point in time, you could try to find a prophet, try to stand up against governments, try to find prophecies. I have done my best to explain the things that are going to happen, and I have no quarrel with anyone. I have no excuses for that which may bring this. I have no excuses for what might bring this. Humanity has to do these things on their own. They have to be responsible enough to want their prophecies back. If they want a prophet, they have to be responsible enough not to start war and find someone who's going to bring peace. they've tried and tried and tried. They can't do that. Maybe they should find their prophecies so that a real prophet could bring those 7 years of peace. I can't have anything else to say, can I? I bid you all peace, and may peace be upon you.